r/AskReddit. People who have called the number below, "How's my driving?" on commercial trucks, what happened?
I called when a semi was driving fast and ran a stop sign on a small mountain road. The lady that answered the call acted clueless like, "Why am I calling this number?" I had to tell her that this is the number that is on the back of the truck. How am I driving? I took a picture of it on my phone, so I knew I had the right number. I felt that it was just there for show.
I've actually seen those stickers be very cleverly altered with black and white tape bits, so that a digit in the phone number looks like a different number from more than 5 feet away.
Definitely. I called once and it was a phone sex hotline.
Truckers ain't got time for snitching.
My mom and I were on the highway and a truck cut us off. Slamming on the horn and just going from the left lane to the right quickly. I warned my mom and she had to hit the brakes and go into the shoulder. I saw the sticker and we called. The receptionist thanked us for calling and radioed the driver immediately. We couldn't hear what they said, but they said the driver was informed.
Informing the driver while they are still potentially near the people who reported on them? If the driver has anger issues, I feel like that situation has the potential to end very poorly.
The driver ran a red light in a school zone during after-school release. I called the company. They apologized and changed the truck route so it didn't go through a school zone. Dull story, but successful.
I love how that solution doesn't address the immediate problem of the bad driver, but still presents a good long-term solution.
I called one once. It was Canada Day and I was driving on the 401 through Toronto. Traffic was pretty thick, and cars were doing dumb things. This truck driver beside me took everything in stride and just handled everything so calmly. I called the number on his truck, and the guy on the other end sounded really defensive, like he was waiting for me to tear into him. I gave him the truck's identifying info and complimented the driver. He was surprised and happy to hear it. I strongly believe that good work should be mentioned to superiors as well as bad work. It's been my New Year's resolution a few years in a row to mention to managers when I get good service. It's not much effort from me, but the recognition could make a big difference to the employee.
I don't know, guys. This seems pretty Canadian to me. In a good way.
Good driving on the 401. Fake story. Ban this account. It's clearly a bot of some kind.
A tow truck driver wasn't paying attention and merged into my lane and almost ran me off the road. So I honked my horn at him, and he responded to that by miming a BJ at me. So I called the company. Because duck that guy.
Yay, that guy has a weird way of saying sorry.
I wish it was more acceptable to say sorry with BJs. Certainly make for a happier society.
Canada would get really ducking messy.
South on I-5. 70 miles per hour in the left lane. Cruise control. In the right lane was a FedEx double trailer tailgating a car doing 55 miles per hour. Legal limit for trucks in Oregon. Decided to cut me off with about 20 feet bumper to bumper. Brake checks me, then crawls past the car on the right at 56 miles per hour. As I passed him, he flipped me off. So I got back behind him to get the number and his plate. Passed him and called. I guess the color of the arrow indicates whether it's international or not. Either green or purple. I don't remember which is which, but he was international. It didn't sound like they were pleased with his actions, and I guess they can track him by GPS, so hopefully he was let go, but I doubt it.
FedEx takes that stuff very serious. Every complaint causes a fine for the owner of the route. The owners take it seriously. A wreck in the truck, your fault or not, will be cause for termination.
I had a FedEx truck run me off the road on the interstate a few years back. Thanks to the defensive driving course my dad made me take as a teenager, I managed to avoid an accident. So I got back on the road, caught up with him, and immediately called it in to both the police and FedEx. FedEx actually called me back a few days later to ensure that I was okay, and to let me know that the driver had been handled by them.
Called to tell them to let the driver know he had a tail light out. Response: Okay, so you said he's speeding and swerving through traffic? No, he just has a tail light out. I figured you guys could let him know. Oh, I'm sorry, we only take complaints.
That's really insane to me.
I guess the cops will handle that one.
See how everyone is bad? My wife called 111 cause the driver avoided an accident. Some idiot switched lanes without looking and the van handled it like a champ. If he hadn't, we all would have been in an accident. So wife called and left a good review telling them that person is paying attention.
That's cool that she did that. I used to deliver auto parts in my teen years. Someone called to compliment my driving. I was cut off by another vehicle and handled it well, is what the caller said. I don't even remember it happening. When you drive for a living, that kind of stuff happens all the time. But my boss gave me a $50 bonus, and then I made Employee of the Month, and landed another $50. An extra $100 for a teenager felt pretty great.
Some old biddy got cranky and started arguing that it was my fault the driver ran the stop sign and hit my car. As it so happens, the guy in the Porsche behind me was a civil attorney. He asked to talk to her. So I handed him the phone. 5 minutes later, I had his business card and a promise from the old biddy to pay my insurance deductible.
That's a wild lawyer. They are usually only seen in firms, so consider yourself very lucky.
Didn't call the number on the back of the truck. Called the cops instead. Driving down the highway in the middle of the night and this 18-wheeler was going 90 miles per hour in a 65. Weaving in and out of lanes. And driving down the middle of 2 lanes. Dude seemed to have a wish to die or kill people. Dispatcher told us to stay back but keep up with him and tell them exactly what he was doing and how fast. About 5 minutes up the road there were cop cars and troopers at each overpass entrance ramp. And the last one we get to, a cop speeds up from that entrance ramp and forces the diesel to the side of the highway to pull over. Was crazy to say the least.
That's all folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please help the channel by smashing the like button and subscribing for more daily content.